Hey, this is Levi from thenerf.com, and it's time for another viewer request. And it's not a simple request, it's Tommy Emmanuel's Classical Gas. Now, Tommy Emmanuel's arrangement of Classical Gas is nothing short of marvelous. This is not just going to be a lesson, this is going to be a journey. We're going to learn so much from this, you're not going to believe this. This is like an encyclopedia of guitar playing, what we're going to learn here. So first, let me play it for you so you can see and hear how it goes. Just keep in mind, I'm not Tommy Emmanuel, so I'm not going to play it as perfectly as he does. I don't think anybody can play it as he does, but I'm going to give it my best shot, and then we're going to break it down lick by lick with tabs on the screen and everything. So take a deep breath, relax, meditate if you need to. We're going to have a blast. It goes like this. Alright, so first thing you need to know is that this lesson is a gift. One of your fellow viewers donated a very generous sum of money for me to make time to learn this, practice this, and make this lesson, and then edit the lesson and upload the lesson. It all takes time, so thank you so much for enabling this lesson. I'm sure we are all thankful, and not just me. So thank you. Alright, so this is in A minor. This is in A minor, even though it takes quite a few detours from the scale itself. You begin quite similarly to the original classical gas A part. You begin with this. Alright, with the last note as a transition to a G chord. Now, the original, of course, is this. Okay, I've got a lesson for the original classical gas by Mason Williams. If you want, go and learn it. It's quite impressive by itself. Tommy Emmanuel plays something simpler. He plays this. Alright? Now, sometimes he likes to play the chord. Another important thing before we begin, Tommy Emmanuel changes his arrangement every time. He plays something different every time he plays with the chords and the melodies. I'm going to show you different ways he plays it and different ways you can play with it. So keep in mind that nothing is set in stone. So he plays this. Okay? Now you play the A minor chord. You play either just the bass and the B string on one, or you play the entire chord, all four strings 2 to 4. The B string, the G string, the D string, and the A string. Either like this, or like this. Alright? And then you pull off your finger from the B string, so it's a pull off from 1 to 0. Okay? Now just with the bass note. Alright? Then you play the G string on 2. It's still a chord. Okay, it's an A note. And then on the B string, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so it's 1, 0, 2 on the G string. Then on the B string again, 0, 1. Okay? And then you take the chord off and you play an open B string. Okay, now sometimes he pulls off from 1 to 0. So he plays this. Okay? Okay, it gives it a simple embellishment. Simple yet impressive. Alright, and then you play the open B string, and then right away you play the G bass, 3 on the E string, the E bass, then strings D and G, the 4th and 3rd strings. Then the same thing with the F sharp bass, 2 on the E bass, it's G over F sharp. And then you put on an E minor chord and you play the E bass, then the D string on 2. And then you play B string, then on the G string with your pinky, 2, 0, 2. Then open B string again. Okay, so it's got it? So again. Okay? And then now again, on the E minor lick, this one, sometimes he slides the pinky back from 3 to 2 on the G string, and then it sounds like this. Okay? Slower. Okay? So it's... you can also take the chord off and just slide. It's more comfortable that way. Okay, but then this note, the E note, is taken off of the guitar, and then you're left with this. It's a little thinner, but if it sounds good to you, then why not? So again, slower. And then the first ending is this. You put the A minor chord back on, you play the G string, and then you play the bass, and then on both G and D strings you play this. Okay, so it's... Okay, and between those two licks you play the bass again, so it's 0-2 on both G and D strings, bass note again, then 0-2 on the G and D strings again. So it's 0-2 bass, 0-2. Okay? So the entire ending again, 2 on the G string, 2 on the G string, bass 0-2, bass 0-2. Got it? Slower. Together with the E lick. Alright, and then you can either fill it again with the bass note or with a couple of bass notes, either just the A bass or a couple of bass notes. Okay, and then you start again together. Or the A note twice. Then again. Alright, this isn't the ending. It's this. Okay? It's the same as before. Then, the ending is this. Okay? It's a transition into the B part. Now, the key to this transition, which is actually the entire motif for Tommy Emmanuel's arrangement, is the chromatic movement. The chromatic movement is this. Okay? It's this. Pay attention. It's 1 on the B string, then 3 on the B string. Then on the E string it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And then it jumps to 7. So this is what Tommy Emmanuel bases his arrangement on, this chromatic lick, because the chromatic motif is going to repeat itself throughout the arrangement. You're going to see what I mean. This is the first time it shows up. Now, it's also in the original classical gas, but that arrangement, the original composition, goes like this. Okay, it's different. Tommy Emmanuel accentuates the chords and adds a couple of chords instead of just notes. Anyway, it's A minor. You pick strings 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then G over B, 2 on the A string, 3 on the B string. And again, you pick strings 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then C, and you pick strings 1, 2, 3, and 5. Then F, a small F, not a full F. You can pick a full F if you want. A small F works as well, half F. I like to call it a small F because it's shorter than this. Never mind. And again, you pick strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then D, strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. G, strings 1, 2, 3, and 6. Then an E chord, D-shaped on 4. You take D 2 frets up and you play the E bass along with it. You play strings 1, 2, 3 and the E bass, the 6th string. Or you can play this and bar the 4th fret, put your finger on the 5th fret of the B string and another finger on the 6th fret of the D string. And then it's E over G sharp. Okay, I like to play a full E chord with the E bass. And then F sharp diminished. From strings 1 to 4, it's 5, 4, 5, 4. Okay? Pinky, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger. Okay? Okay, it's 5 on the E string, 4 on the B string, 5 on the G string, 4 on the D string. And you play this, strings 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then take this 2 frets up to 7 to G sharp diminished. Okay, and then begins the B part, okay, which is this. And so on. Again, A minor, G over B, C, F, D, G, E, F sharp diminished, G sharp diminished. Now without talking. Okay, now along with the first half of the 8 bar. Done with the A part. Now the real fun begins. The B part. The B part begins like this. It's an A minor chord. You bar strings 1, 2, and 3 with your finger and add your pinky on 8 on the E string and play the A bass along with it. You play strings 1, 2, 3, and 5. Again, you can pick strum it. Okay? Okay, you don't have to pick everything at once. Okay, you can downward pick it. Whichever sounds better to you. Tommy Emmanuel changes it from time to time. Even while he's playing it, he changes it. First time around he plays it like that. Second time around he plays it differently. Other times he just plays this. Okay, without the B string. It all depends on whatever sound you want to get out of the guitar. Anyway. This is the chord. And then on the E string, 7 and 5. Then pinky on 8 on the B string. Then 5 again on the E string. Okay, got it? 8, 7, 5, 8 on the B string, 5 on the E string. Now, you can harmonize with the lower notes. Okay? Just don't pick the E string when you pick the B string as your melody note. Just pick the G string as your harmony. Okay, so it's if you want. If not, just harmonize occasionally. Got it? Whichever sounds good to you. Experiment with it. Find your own way of expressing things on the guitar. Okay, now you can add a bass note. Okay, after the 8 on the B string. Bass. Okay, and then this. With your pinky and 3rd finger on the B and G strings, you pick 7, the 7th fret. Okay? 7 and 7 on the G and B string. Then this. Okay, it's on the A string. It's 0, 3, 2, and you slide up and it doesn't slide to anywhere in particular, it just slides up. Okay? It doesn't slide up to any note. It's just an embellishment, it's an effect. And then open A string again. So it's 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0 with a slide between the 2 and 0. And then 2 on the G string. Okay, sometimes Tommy Emmanuel slaps it. Sometimes he just plays it like this. And then 3, 2, 0 on the E string. Okay? It's pretty simple. It's just the scale. Okay? 0, 3, 2 slide. 0, 2 on the G string, which is an A note. On the E string, the E bass, 3, 2, 0. And then this again. And then he plays this. A. Natural harmonic on 5. On the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings on 5. If you don't know how to produce a natural harmonic, you just place your finger above the steel string, the steel string, of course the steel string, the steel fret, above the steel part, the fret itself. Right above it, you touch the strings, you don't press it. If this is the string, you don't press it, you just touch it. And then you pick and let it go, let it ring. Okay, so it's A, 5 on 2, 3, and 4, and then A, 12, natural harmonic on 12, on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. Okay? Okay, so it's here, it's a G chord. It's G over A, if you want to call it like that. And here it's E minor over A. The ear doesn't hear a G chord and an E minor chord, it just hears solo. But that's what it is, and that's why it works. Right? If you try it on the piano, it will sound good as well. Just make sure there's a wide distance between the notes. A, G, A, E minor, and then it will sound good, and you'll see that it works on different instruments as well. Okay, and then this again. And then instead of 7 and 7 on the G and B strings, you play a D7 chord, bar on the 5th string, and pinky and 3rd fingers on 7 on the B and D strings. And you play strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you just play it. Okay? It's, or any other rhythm you like. Okay? Everything can work here as long as you play the chord and enjoy yourself. If you watch Tommy Emmanuel play, he always enjoys himself. That's the key to his playing. He enjoys it every time, no matter how many times he plays it. He's been playing this for over 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think this is over 20 years old, this arrangement. And he's been playing this for over 20 years, and he's still enjoying himself every time he plays it. That's the key. Enjoy yourself, and it will sound good. I like to play strings 2, 3, and 4, then the bass twice, then the chord, then the bass twice, then the chord. Okay, and it's... And then we come to a very, very simple concept, but a brilliant placement within the arrangement. You'll see what I mean. It's a very simple concept. It's a cliche even. It's a country walking bass cliche. But Tommy Emmanuel pulls it off tremendously well inside the arrangement. It gets a whole new meaning. What I mean is this. And then this, which is 2-5-1, leading into A minor. It's 2-5-1. It's a voice leading. It's a composition trick, basically mostly used in jazz, and it leads back to A minor. We'll talk about it when we get there. But this, it's a country cliche. It's see, it works, but he took it completely out of context and put it in classical gas. That's why he's a genius. So it's basically just on the bass. Now he plays it a couple of different ways. Mainly, I'm going to show you both. It's 0-2, 0-2 on the bass, on the E bass. And then the same thing on the A string, 0-2, and then a C chord. And then the same thing on the D string, and it leads into an F chord. Okay? Let's just finish the whole lick. And then he doesn't play this all the time, sometimes it just goes into B flat major 7. But sometimes he does go chromatically. On the A bass, he does 3-2, and then B flat major 7, which is 1 on the A string, 3 on the D string, 2 on the G string, 3 on the B string, and then 0-1 on the A string. And then 2 on the A string, turning this from B flat major 7 to B minor 7 flat 5. Okay? Along with this note. Let's just forget about theory and chord names. Let's just call it B minor 7 flat 5. And then he plays strings 1, 2, and 3. And then he plays on the E bass. Don't worry, I'm going to repeat everything. We're just going over this first time before we dissect it. On the E bass, he plays 3-1, and then E7 with the pinky on 3 on the B string, and he plays this again. Okay, first string, second string, third string. And then either goes back to the, of course, or he just plays this. Okay, just making noise with the guitar. It doesn't really matter what you play there. He just mutes the strings really high, and then picks them, he rakes them, okay, a rake with force, so it produces a high sound, and then okay, it goes back. It doesn't matter what you do here. You can do this, okay, and go back, or you can do this if you like drumming on the guitar, or a more complex drum solo, or you can even do this. Okay, and work on your timing better than what I just did. Again, it doesn't matter. You can even do this. Okay, just make noise with the guitar. Doesn't really matter what you do here. It's playful. It's meant to be humorous. Tell Me Emmanuel does it for laughs. Actually using humor in music is a really strong tool, and not used too often, unfortunately. And Tommy Emmanuel does it extremely well, as he does everything else regarding guitar playing and music. Anyway, let's go over this again. Okay? It's 0 to G on the E string, then on the A string to C, then on the D string to F, then on the A string 3, 2, 1, and 1 is B flat major 7, and then 0, 1 on the A string, and then 2 on the A string, making this, it's the same chord by the way, you don't take the fingers off, into B minor, B minor 7 flat 5. Okay, and you strum it. And then 3, 1 on the E string, and then E7. Okay? That was the original Mason Williams version of the A minor chord, by the way. Okay. Second variation of this. Okay, the second variation is playing 0, 2, 3, and then the rest of the chord. Okay, playing all the bass notes, then the chord. Okay, up to the B minor 7 flat 5. Got it? Again, 0, 2, 3 on the E bass, G. Okay, strings 1, 2, and 3. Then the same thing on the A string, 0, 2, 3, C. 0, 2, 3 on the D string, F. 3, 2, 1 on the A string, strings 2, 3, and 4 on the B flat major 7. Okay? 0, 1, and then same ending. Okay, you strum the B minor 7 flat 5. Okay? Okay? Now, there's another variation for the E7 movement, for the transition of the bass notes. You can do a complete chromatic movement. You can do 3, 2, 1, E7. 3, 2, 1, E7. Okay, but then you need to cut a note from this. Okay? Instead of playing just leave the last note off, and instead of it, play. Okay? If you add a note here, you take a note off of the previous line. Okay? So it sounds like this. Got it? So, entire chorus again, from the ending of the A part. Lick, bass, bass solo, then the lick again, harmonics lick, lick again, D7, ending. Again, without me talking, with the second variation of the ending. Okay, got it? Okay. You're done with the A part and the B part. Now, there's this. I don't know why I keep messing up the A minor part. Maybe because I'm a little nervous because I'm shooting a long ass lesson. Anyway, did you recognize the chromatic motif? It was here. It was in the bass note and the E string. And here, okay, again, the B and D strings were chromatic motif. We're gonna go over everything. Now, this is pretty simple. You just pick the G bass all the time. Okay? It's a vamp. And the solo on the play the G string with your third finger because you need your pinky for the third fret of the B string and your first finger for the first fret, both on the B string and to bar strings 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So we pick this all the time. And the solo. Let's go over the melody first. It's this. And then, okay, it's basically C, and then F minor, C, and then it's again C, and then F minor 6, and then C over G. Okay, it's C over G, F minor over G, C over G, F minor 6 over G. So, it's a vamp. It's just like this, which is over A minor. Anyway, it's not a vamp. I made a fool of myself. It's not a vamp, it's a pedal note. I meant to say a pedal note. Yeah. Sorry, got confused. It's a pedal note. A vamp is when a couple of chords repeat themselves and you solo over them. That's a vamp. It's chords it's a chord progression, a very, very short chord progression. 2 chords, 3 chords, 4 chords maximum, but mostly 2 chords that repeat themselves and you solo over them. That's a vamp. A pedal note is where the bass just keeps repeating itself throughout chord changes. So this is C over G, and then F minor over G, and then C over G again, and then F minor 6 over G, and then C over G. Okay? So, let's begin. It's 1 on the B string and open E and G strings. So it's 0, 1, 0. And then 3 on the B string, and then open E string. Now again, you can harmonize with the lower notes. Or you can play all the strings all the time. That works as well. And then half a bar on strings 1, 2, and 3 on the first fret with 3 on the B string. Oh, no, that's the second time around. First time around it's just the bar. Okay, it's F minor. And then C again, 0, 1, 0. And then again, C chord, 3, and then open E string again. And then the F minor 6. It's the bar with 3 on the B string. And then C again. Got it? So it's C, 3 on the B string, open E string, bar, on 1, C again. C, 3 open E string, bar with 3 on the B string. C again. With the G bass picked all throughout. just ignore the thumb. The thumb keeps going to. Okay? The thumb is like a hi-hat being drum. Okay? It's. And then this. What is this? This is an arpeggio. It's an E flat arpeggio. Okay? This is E flat. It's C-shaped with the bass on E flat, on 6 on the A string. And it's as if you're picking the chord. Okay? Now, first you slide into the chord. Okay? It's not. Okay? It's. Okay? The slide is 2 notes. It's 1 note and then the second note. Okay? You can slide it from 3 to 6. You can slide it from 5 to 6. Okay? Doesn't matter. As long as it's 2 notes. It's do-do. It's not rum-do-do-do. It's not. Okay? Because then you'll be missing a note. We were here. So it's slide to 6 on the A string, 5 on the D string, 3 on the G string, 4 on the B string, 3 on the E string. Okay, so it's 6, 5, 3, 4, 3. Just imagine, picture in your mind a C shape here from 4 to 6. Okay? So it's. And then keep the finger on 3 on E, pinky on 6 on the E string, then double pull off on the E string, 6, 4, 3. Okay? With your second finger on 4. So it's. Okay, you can also do this if you want. Instead of 6, the B flat note twice, you can move up to it. You can pick 3 on the E string, then 4, then 6, and pull off if you want. So again, slide to 6, 5, 3, 4, 3, 6, 6, 4, 3. Okay, on ascending strings. So and then it's this. Now you can either pick it or strum it. Now it's G sharp. Now the shapes are important. The G sharp chord is E shaped. Keep that in mind. And then E flat, C shaped. Okay, the bar of G sharp is on 4. And the bar of E flat is on 3. Now the bar on E flat, you pick E flat over G. You pick the G bass on 3. Okay? That's very, very important. And then you pick the G bass. Okay? And then it's a chromatic movement. Changing from an E shape to a C shape to an E shape to a C shape to an E shape to a C shape. Just the bar keeps going up 1 fret. Okay? It's very, very smart. Because the chords jump around, but the chromatic movement is inside the chords. So the chromatic movement is inside the chords because the high E string is the chromatic movement, and the bass notes also move up in chromatic movement because you play the E string as you're connecting bass note between the chords. So you begin with a C shape, and then you play the bass note 3 times, and you play the E shape. This is G sharp again, and then up 1 fret, and then you play the C shape again. This is F, and then up 1 fret, E shape. This is B flat, and then C shape again, up 1 fret. This is G, and then up 1 fret. This is C, and then up 1 fret, C shaped, this is A, up 1 fret, E shaped, this is D, up 1 fret, this is B, and then this, which is E. But let's wait a second, because this is the next, this is the beginning of the next lick, the next chromatic lick, which is also quite ingenious. Just let me emphasize that this is not E flat, it's E flat over G. This is not F, this is F over A. This is not G, this is G over B. And this isn't A, this is A over C sharp. This is also not B, it's B over E flat. Why? Because you play the E bass all along, and then you get this. And then E. So it's so simple, and yet it's perfect, because he fits it in exactly the right place. He fits it exactly where it belongs. It makes sense musically. It's not just showing off. It's not just making waves with his technique and his knowledge. It's musically correct. It sounds great, and that's the greatness of Tommy Emmanuel. What else can I say? So again, okay, let's talk about shapes. E, E, C. Okay, on 4, 4, and 3. Then we go up 1 fret with the bar every time. 4, E, C, 5, 6, E, 7, C, 8, E, 9, C, 10, E, 11, C. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, okay? And 3 bass notes between every 2 chords, okay? And one last time, you begin with C on 3, which is E flat, and it's C, E, C, E, C, E, C, E, C, and then the E chord itself. Now, Tommy Emmanuel plays it a little differently. He plays something which is a bit harder technically. He plays it like this. Okay, I'm not fluent with this. Why? Because he uses his thumb. Okay, he uses his thumb for the bass notes, and he plays. Let's just play it here for a second. He plays an F shape for the E shape. He plays an F, a small F shape. Then he takes his second finger down 1 fret for the C shape. Okay. So the only thing that changes is the second finger jumping from the 2nd fret to the 3rd fret. So, okay, and the bass is played with the thumb. So it's this. Okay, it's with the finger on the 2nd fret, then here with the finger on the 3rd fret. Okay, so it's the only thing that changes is the only thing that changes is the 2nd finger. Okay, it begins with on the second finger on the 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string, with the thumb going along with it, where the bar is. That's how he plays it. I'm sure that if I had more time, I would have practiced it and succeeded at it, but but I'm not fluent with that technique yet. It's not too comfortable for me. If you want, practice it. But playing it this way is not too bad for the rest of us mortals. Tommy Emmanuel can do whatever the heck he likes, because he can. Because he practiced a lot. If you ask him, I'm sure he'll tell you exactly how much he practiced, and probably still does practice every day, because that's what professional musicians do. They practice, and then practice some more. Anyway, small mosquito coming to suck my blood. Now the mosquito broke my train of thought. Oh, this. Now let's go over the chords first. It's a bar on strings 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the 9th fret. The pinky is on 12 on the E string. This is E. Okay? This is an E chord, because if it's a complete G shape, it's an E chord. Then the bar goes to 11, the pinky stays on 12, and you add a finger on the G string on, no, I'm sorry, the bar goes to 10. It goes up 1 fret, not 2, and the 2nd finger goes on 11 on the G string. Okay? This is, just a second, this is F sharp minor 7 flat 5, which is the 2 of the E minor chord of the E minor scale. Never mind. It's just know that this, okay, from the 4th string up, it's 10, 11, 10, 12. This is F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Okay? F sharp half diminished. Then the bar and the 2nd finger go up 1 fret again, but that's extremely uncomfortable, so what you do is just place a normal minor 7 flat 5 chord here. Okay, instead of this, all cramped and stuffed into. You just play this normal chord, normal shape. It's 12, 11, 12, 11 on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. It's just like this. Remember? Minor 7 flat 5, same thing, pinky on 12. And then bar on 12 and 2nd finger on 13 on the G string. Okay, this is just E again. This is an E chord. Actually, it's E7 because we've got this. Okay, so it's E7. Alright, so again, bar on 9, pinky on 12, bar on 10, pinky on 12, 2nd finger on 11 on the G string. Okay, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Then this, pinky on 12, 11 below it, 12 below it, 11 below it, 12, 11, 12, 11, from the 1st to the 4th string. This is C sharp. I forgot to mention this is C sharp minor 7 flat 5. Then this, which is E7. It's a bar on 12 and second finger on 13 on the G string. So okay, and you begin with the E chord, so you were here, and then this. You play the E string. Now you can mute the A string with blocking it from below with the barring finger. Just touch the A string so it doesn't play. So we were here. Okay? You don't want to count it. Okay? If you count, you'll get confused. You want to hear it. So it's 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay? And then okay, the E, second chord, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then again, twice more, next chord, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then the next chord again, and then make some noise with the guitar, go back to the A part. So again, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1. I know I said don't count it and then I counted. What I meant was don't count the bass notes. Count the beat. Don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright? Don't count E notes. I should have been more specific instead of contradicting myself. Don't count bass notes. Don't do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14. Okay, don't count the notes. Count the beat. Know where you are inside the bar. Always know where you are in the bar. Always know where the first beat is. That's a different way of putting it. Always know where the 1 is. Because that's always where you want to be on the beginning of the bar. Let's not go into theory. 1. Keep the A note blocked. Don't forget, block the A string. Okay, mute it, block it with your finger, your closest finger, just touch it from below so you won't play this. Okay, you don't want this sound. Okay, you want a clean E bass. Okay, I'm picking the A along with it, but you don't hear it because I'm blocking it. Okay, same thing for the second chord. A note is blocked. Same goes for the third chord. A note is blocked. Fourth chord. Okay? Let's play this entire part again. Ugh. Sorry, I keep playing the Mason Williams A part. It's stuck in my fingers, I'm sorry. But you can play it. Tommy Emmanuel sometimes plays it. you can play it. All right, next part. The next part is this. In context. Okay, twice. And then either go to the next part or go back to the C part, to this. Okay? Or to the next part, which is... Okay? What's going on here? It's basically a lot of chords with a melody outlining the chords themselves and connecting the chords to one another. And in the end there, you've got a chromatic bass lick. Motif. Again, you've got a chromatic bass lick. You've got... it's this. It's... this isn't chromatic. It's 3-2-0, and then it's a chromatic lick. It's with your thumb. It's okay. It's okay. 0, 1, 2, 3 on the bass. The motif again. So let's begin. A minor. You bar the 5th fret on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd strings with the A bass. Then 2 on the G string. Then open B string. Then C over G. Okay? It's 1 on the B string, 3 on the E bass with an open G string between them. Okay, you play all 3 strings. Strings 2, 3, and 6. And then with your pinky, 3 on the B string, open E string, F. You play the entire chord. You play strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then with your pinky, 3 on the E string, 5 on the E string. Then minor 7 flat 5 chord. This time with your pinky on 8. And then 1 fret down with your pinky on 7. This is A minor 7 flat 5. This is G sharp minor 7 flat 5. Now sometimes Tommy Emmanuel bars the 6th fret and plays this. Okay? Pinky and 3rd fingers on 8 on the E and G strings, and he picks the all 4 strings, so it's 8, 6, 8, 6, and then he takes the fingers back, and then you get a G sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord. Okay, again, it's this remains throughout both chords. Okay, I just like to do this. I like this version better. Don't know why, I just do. But you can do this if you want to play what he plays. Even though this, he also plays this from time to time. Again, he plays with his arrangement, you can play it with it too. So, that's the first line. Okay, so it's A minor, 2, 0, C over G, 3, 0, F, 3, 5, 2 chords, with the melody being 8 and 7 on the E string. Okay, so 5, 2, 0, C over G, 3, 0, F, 3, 5, 8, 7. Okay, and then this again. Okay, almost to the end. So it's A minor, C over G, F, 3, 5, and then it's G, G7. Okay? Simple G with 3 on the E string, then G7 with 1 on the E string. Okay? This is the only change. So it's... Now for the bass change part. It's C. Now the basses change from C to B to A. So it's... And you play the chord however you want to feel it. You can play... Or you can play it. Okay, it doesn't matter. Do whatever sounds good to you. Again, Tommy Emmanuel changes it all the time. I'm going to repeat this because many guitar players think they should copy exactly what the other guitar player does, and that's just not creative. Create your own sound, create your own arrangement, play what you want to play. You can play what he plays later. Okay, you can emulate whatever the guitar player plays after you try and experiment with it. If you get stuck on one version, then all you're doing is playing somebody else's sound. And why not play your own? Play your own sound. So C over B. Okay, leave the first finger on the B string. And then A minor. A minor 7 actually. But add the pinky on 3 on the B string. And then take it off again. Okay, so it's C over B, A minor 7 sus 4, and then A minor 7 again. So it's C over B, pinky, first fret again. Okay, so it's, let's try another way of explaining. C over B, A bass with 3 on the B string, A bass with 1 on the B string. Okay, I'm sure I covered all options of explaining this. Okay, so I like to play the bass notes twice. Okay, with the A note twice, so it's 4 times. So it's C, and I play the chord along with I play the chord every couple of bass notes. Every time I change a bass. Alright? I really hope you got it. I have no other way. I have no more ways of explaining it. And then this. The bass notes are played with the thumb. It's the E string and it's 0, 1, 2, 3. Now you can play 3 with the thumb, but I change into G6. I just use my second finger for the final bass note, the G note. You can play the thumb as well. Tommy Emmanuel does. He does this. Okay? But then again, sometimes he may play like this. I don't know. He changes it all the time. It's D. It's D sus. It's D over E. Okay, it's D5 over E. But because you've got the open E string and E on the bass, then technically it's D sus 2 over E. Okay, it's D sus 2 over E. But for simpler way of explaining this, let's call it D5 over E. Actually, that's not a lot simpler than what I just said. So D sus 2 over E. Chord names are a bitch, we already know that. Anyway, you play strings 2 and 3 on 3 and 2. it's a D chord with E on the bass. Then 0 on the E string, then 1 on the E string, you still have the D chord going, and you play 1 on the bass along with it. So now it's D minor over F. Again. Use your second and third fingers for the D5 chord. I forgot to mention that. But I'm sure you have eyes, you saw which fingers I'm using. You're intelligent. So be alert if I forget to mention anything. D over E, 0 on the E string, D minor over F, then take the finger off and it's D sus2 over F sharp because the bass is now on 2. Okay? All strings, 1, 2, 3, and 6. And then this. 3 on the B string, open G string, and 3 on the E bass. Now, if the E string is still ringing, then this is technically G6. But if it's not, and you're only playing this, then it's G5. Again, chord names, let's leave them out of this. And if you play it with the bass, you just take the second finger off and you play it with the bass. Okay, so it's this or this. So again, bass notes. E, F, F sharp, G. We good till now? Really hope so. Then C, simple C chord. The melody is this. E string 3 times, then pinky on 3 on the B string, then take the pinky off, 1 on the B string. So the melody is, okay, but play the entire chord all along. Okay? Or you can not play the E string when you play the B string melody. But if you play the E string, it adds a bit of flavor to it. Okay? And then E7. Then you repeat everything. Okay? The E7 you can pick in any way you like. You can do it. And then, okay, so it's. Or you can pick the bass. Or you can pick the chord. Okay, again, A minor, C over G, F, the 2 half diminished chords. Then again, instead of the diminished chord, the half diminished chords, G, G7, C, C over B, A minor, D over E, D minor over F, D over F sharp, D sus2 over F sharp, G, C, E7, and then either go here again, or do what I like to do and go here. Okay? If you want to play the long version, go back to the C part. If you want to shorten things up a little, go to the next part. The next part is this. Okay, and it connects well to the E because it's a B bass. It's the 5 of the E chord. Now, again, this is played for humor. Now, this is done for humor purposes only. Clearly, this is a humorous part. Thumb on 7 on the E bass. Okay, you play the B bass throughout. Again, a pedal note. Now, the melody is, it's a chord melody this time. It's E, E, B. Okay? Bar, with your third finger, you bar the 9th fret. Okay, and you pick strings 2, 3, and 4. And then, on strings 2, 3, and 4, you play frets 7, 8, 9, which is a B chord, because it's taken out of this. Okay? With your thumb on B, again. So it's... Okay? Just like that. And then you repeat it. E, B, E, B, E, B. Then you play the same thing, back 2 frets, and the thumb is still on B. So you play D and A over B. Okay? So. Okay? Keep the thumb on 7. Now, you play this twice, and whenever you're not picking a chord, you pick a bass. Okay, you play this, and you play the bass notes again. You don't do this. Don't do this. You don't stop playing the bass notes. That's what I mean. See for yourself. It doesn't sound good. Okay? If I stop playing the bass notes, it loses the whole point. The whole point of this part. The whole point is playing the bass notes all the time. So, slowly. Take this back 2 frets again. Now the thumb goes along with it. You have no choice. You can't play it on 5, on 3 to 5, and have your thumb on 7. And this is where I personally switch, because this is more comfortable for me. You can keep the thumb on 5 and play G over A. But I like to play G over A like this. Again, the fingers are on 3, 4, and 5, on strings 2, 3, and 4, and the bass is on 5. And I mute the E string and the A string. Okay? And then back 2 more frets to F over G. Then G over A again, F over G, and then E, just a simple E chord, and then, again, you've got a choice. Either you go to the next part, which is the ending, or you go back to the A part, and you play the A and B parts again, and then go to the next part, which is the ending, this. Okay? Because, again, both this part the one we just played, okay, and the B part end on E. The B part end on E7, and this one ends on E. Both are dominant chords for A minor. Now, the next part, I don't believe we have to play this part again, right? It's pretty simple. The next part is this. Then again. Now, again, chromatic movement. The bass notes, okay, are chromatic. Okay? And the final chord is E again. It's E over G sharp. Let me explain. You play this. This is it's B over E flat. Why is it B? It's B because this is B5. It's this an octave up with E flat on the bass. Now, this is an inversion of this. This is B. Okay, D shape. If we take D up here, it's B. Let's forget what up here means because I haven't said the fret numbers yet. I'm just explaining the logic of the chord. And we take the high note from the E string, from one E string to another E string on the same fret. So this is an inversion of B, and it's B over E flat. That's the chord. That's the logic. How do you pull this off? First finger on 9 on the D string. Second finger, no, let's leave the second finger yet. First finger on 9 on the D string. Third finger on 11 on the G string. Pinky on the B string on 12, and the second finger is on 11 on the E string, on the E bass. So you've got 11 on the bass, and from the D string up it's 9, 11, 12. Okay? Remember this shape. Okay, let's call this, how should we call it? Let's call this shape A. Okay? Now the next shape is a bar on 9, and the bass note goes down 1 fret to 10. This is E over D. Okay, it's E over D. It's an inversion of E7. Okay, the 7 is on the bass. Okay? So, this is B and this is E. With chromatic bass notes. Now, if this is not clear yet, you don't play the E string, the high E string, and the A string. Okay, you just play strings 1, 2, 3, and 6. Again, you need to mute them because you play them like this. You mute the A string and you mute the high E string by touching them with your fingers. I touch the E string with my pinky and I touch the A string with my second finger. Now these two chords, it's the same two shapes. It's shape A and shape B. Okay? Let's call this the major chord. Let's call this the 7th chord. Okay? So it's major and then 7. And then you take the bass note back 1 fret and you build the major chord again. Okay? This time on 7, 9, and 10. And then the bar is on 7 and the bass is on 8. And then the bass is on 7 and you build the major chord on, you build the 5, the fifth, the power chord on 5, 7, and 8. Then you bar 5 and the bass is on 6 for the 7th chord. Then the bass is on 5 and you build the chord on 3, 5, and 4. And then the bar is on 3 and the bass is on 4. And then final chord, this time you stay with the bass on 4 and you build the chord on 2, 4, and 5, and you're playing an E chord. An E over G sharp chord. You're gonna make me say the full chord names, right? Okay. B over E flat. E over D. A over C sharp. D over C. G over B. C over B flat. Yeah, C over B flat. I thought I got confused. Then F over A, B flat over G sharp, and then E over G sharp. Okay? If you need to know the chord names. So, okay, and you play it twice. Now tell me Emmanuel likes to slide up to the bass. Okay, let's say we're on E. We were here. Right? Remember? Something like that. And then ending. Okay, so A bass. Okay, now let me give you the chords first and then show you different ways you can pick it. It's A minor add 9. A minor add 9 is A minor, but instead of 2 on the G string, you put the pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. Okay, so you've got, okay, and then he turns it into A add 9. To turn it into A add 9, instead of A minor add 9, you need 2 on the B string instead of 1. Instead of 1 on the B string, you have 2 on the B string. Okay? But this is uncomfortable, so he just switches fingers. Okay? And instead of minor add 9, you have major add 9. And then he takes these 2 fingers up on fret. Okay, let's not discuss this chord, even though it's... No, I don't want to discuss it. Let's just say it's somewhat similar to B minor 755, but we're not talking about theory anymore. Not when we're this close to the end. Then this B add 11 over A, because you're still on the A bass, and it's B. All fingers are on 4, A shape. It's like we took an A chord up 2 frets, and we have an open E string. Now the open E string is the 4 of the chord. If you play a B sus4 chord, then you have an E note. But because you play both notes, then it's add 11. It's B add 11 over A. Again, I contradicted myself blatantly. I said no more theory, and then I go and theorize. What I mean is that I don't want to theorize over this chord, because this is way too complex to get into right now. Let's just call it the chord, okay? It's B minus 7 flat 5 over A without one of the notes. Okay, let's just leave it at that. And I'm a teacher. I can't help it but teach. I feel bad if I don't give out all of the information. And then it's A, add 9 again, and then it's the chord again, and then a series of chords to end on. Now, tell me Emmanuel usually plays this. It begins with this. And then he sometimes goes into this. It's partly improvised. I don't think he plans what he's gonna play. He just begins with this picking pattern, which I'm going to show you, and then moves on to whatever he likes to play, or just moves on to the final chords. Now, the picking pattern is bass, A bass, again it's a pedal note, A bass, second string, third string, D string with your thumb, then strings 1, 2, 3, and sometimes you add the fourth string, sometimes you don't. Let me show you. Strings 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, bass again. Now with the fourth string at the end. If you want to connect the chords, you play the fourth string. If you want to add a bit of drama and a bit of a break, then you don't. You don't play it, you leave it out. Now you can play with the rhythm. You can add quarter notes, you can add half notes, you can play with it as well. You see, you can be creative here. Aspire to be creative, to create with your guitar instead of copying someone else. That's what I'm trying to say here. And then this little picking pattern, is just picking a note with your thumb and then quickly picking strings 1 and 2 in triplets. Da 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 da. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Thumb, finger, finger. Okay. Thumb, second finger, first finger. Okay. Thumb, first string, second string in triplets. Da 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 da. Okay. The thumb being the accentuation, what you want to emphasize. And you just arpeggiate with the thumb. You play or just create a simple arpeggio with the thumb and just play along with it, and after each thumb pick strings 1 and 2. Okay? we're back on the chord after 2 or 3 loops. Oh, by the way, don't return to the to the A minor add 9 chord. He plays it first, and then he just keeps going around chromatically, motif, from 2 to 3 to 4. Okay, with another pedal note on, with 4 on the G string. Okay, it's these notes together and these notes on 2, 3, and 4, moving around to 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, ending on 3. You don't go back to the A minor add 9 chord. Okay, that's just the first chord. The reason, the logic behind it is that the whole piece was an A minor, and then he turned it into A major add 9, so it's no longer in A minor. It's now major. Then he plays a series of chords. The only thing you need to know is that you end on A minor. How you lead into A minor is your own choice. You can play E and then A minor. Or you can play G, C, F, D, G, E, something like that. Or you can play G, C, F, C, G, A minor. Or you can play this, okay, just if you want. Doesn't matter at all. Tell me Emmanuel changes it. I've said it a million times. If it's not clear to you that you can change it, then I've tried. I'm sorry. The important thing is to enjoy what you're playing and understand that music is a living, breathing thing. Okay? Okay, you can end any way you want. Okay? Any chords you wish, even these. Okay, the 2-5-1 from the, okay, from this part, you can take them. Okay, B minor 7 flat 5, E7, you can do it. You can do this again. Okay, if it sounds good to you, play it. And you're done! Ha! Thank God. Before you go, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Why not? The lessons are for free and will always be free. The tabs are also for free. Go download them from the website, and if you want to give something back for this lesson or for any other lesson, there's a donation button on the website. I'd be very, very grateful for any donation whatsoever. You can send the dogs a snack if you wish. Again, this lesson is partly thanks to a very, very generous donation that helped me clear some time to sit down and learn this and transcribe it and practice it. So the donations do go back to Lick and Riff. Everything goes back to Lick and Riff. So go download the tab, donate if you like, and go get this under your fingers. Play it, practice it, have patience, play it slowly at first. Learn it lick by lick and just move on to the next lick only when you're ready and only when you got the previous lick down. Don't hurry. It took me about a month to learn this and practice this. So just have fun with it. As long as you have fun, nothing else matters. And I'll see you the next lesson. Thank you so much for watching.